Washington has raised the specter of military action against Iran, setting deadlines and drawing red lines over Iran's nuclear and missile programs. But behind the scenes, there are warnings from senior military officials and divisions within the Trump administration that suggest that striking Iran may be far more complicated than what the presidential rhetoric implies. With US warships moving into position and diplomacy hanging by a thread, the standoff is fast becoming a high-stakes test of strategy, patience, and political will. Who is the latest one, though, to sound an alarm from within the Trump administration, and what does that mean for Trump's plans? I dig a little deeper. He has often called himself the president of peace, touted himself as the man who has ended wars. But US President Donald Trump seems to be going in the opposite direction when it comes to Iran. He has threatened Tehran with military action if they fail to reach a deal within the timeline that he has set. Iran's nuclear program has been the bone of contention, even though Tehran has been widely and actively engaging with Washington. But even as the US Armada is prepared to strike in the Persian Gulf, the United States president hasn't indicated or ordered his forces to launch that limited military action. Is it because Trump's advisors feel the action is easier said than done? Well, news reports suggest that US Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, has cautioned President Donald Trump against a military campaign. He is believed to have warned senior American officials that a military campaign against Iran could carry serious risks, including the possibility of becoming entangled in a prolonged conflict. According to a report, General Kane, who is Trump's top military advisor, has warned that the stakes in Iran are much higher and a Venezuela-type campaign may not work. The template followed during Nicolas Maduro's capture, if replicated in Iran, could lead to a significant US casualties and broader regional escalation. Now, the timing of this report is significant. It comes amid debate that is ongoing at the top levels of the Trump administration about how to handle the Iran standoff and what the consequences of each of their options would be. US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner have been pressing President Trump to give negotiations more time. They're scheduled to meet Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Geneva this week. Trump is demanding that Iran end all nuclear enrichment and has asked that it limit its ballistic missile program, conditions that the Islamic Republic has outrightly refused. A possible compromise that has been floated would see Iran continue token enrichment that would leave it far short of producing a nuclear weapon. But Trump seems to be growing impatient. Many say the advice to exhaust diplomatic avenues before taking any military action seems to be falling on deaf ears. These reports caught the attention of the US president. Donald Trump threw a Truth Social tantrum to shut down these reports and clarified that his favorite general is not against his plans against Iran. The commander-in-chief addressed the matter himself, and he said, and I quote, "Numerous stories from the fake news media have been circulating stating that General Daniel Kane, sometimes referred to as Razin, is against us going to war with Iran. The story does not attribute this vast wealth of knowledge to anyone and is 100% incorrect." President Trump then added that General Kane would like not to see a war, but if a decision is made against going against Iran, then on the military level, it is his opinion that that will be easily won. He warned that if Iran failed to make a deal, then it would be a very bad day for the country. Whether Donald Trump is merely buying time or recalibrating his strategy is anyone's guess. But the Pentagon has been building up the largest force of American warships and aircraft in the Middle East in recent weeks. Aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and 3 guided missile destroyers have been in the Arabian Sea since the end of January after being redirected from the South China Sea. 2 weeks later, Trump ordered the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, along with 3 destroyers and more than 5,000 additional service members to head to the region. Now, earlier operations by the United States were time-bound and had defined objectives, from targeting ISIS leadership to striking Syrian airfields after chemical attacks. But if Washington was to wage this war against Tehran, the campaign would begin without a clearly defined end game. Short of a last-minute diplomatic breakthrough, what happens next will be in the hands of Donald Trump and Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. But at the moment, neither seem prepared to build an off-ramp. The big question, though, is, will hostilities begin? Would a US military operation against Iran be easy? There are several factors to be considered for that. Theoretically, Donald Trump could take a leaf out of his Venezuela playbook. Just like he built a whole armada of US naval vessels and destroyers off the coast of Venezuela for weeks, ultimately building pressure, Trump could try and do something similar off the coast of Hormuz. But that would risk inviting the wrath of the Houthis, who have been active on the Red Sea shipping lanes. It would also send international oil prices soaring, something Donald Trump wouldn't want. But military action isn't just about striking a target. A single operation can require coordination across land, sea, cyber, and space domains. Every move must account for how an adversary might respond, including retaliation against US forces, their allies, or even civilians. There are also domestic considerations. Any president must weigh public opinion, congressional reaction, and long-term political consequences. Decisions that are made inside the White House don't happen in a vacuum. They're shaped by political, economic, and public pressures. Donald Trump has been facing fire from within his own party. Many Republicans questioning the need for the United States to be dragged into yet another conflict. The American public also seems to be seeing through the Trump 2.0 agenda. Most polls released before he delivered his State of the Union address saw Trump's approval ratings drop. Over half of Americans disapproved of President Trump's performance in office. Just 32% of Americans now say that Trump has had the right priorities. 68% said he hasn't paid enough attention to the country's most important problems. So as Trump faces criticism for sitting on a decision against Iran for weeks, it may actually reflect the weight of enormous consequences and the heat the US president is facing from within. Launching a US military operation is not just about capability. It's about calculating risk, managing escalation, protecting long-term interests, and understanding that once force is used, there is no easy reset button.